everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tipsy Tuesday. As you can see, I am back in the building, well, virtually, with Miss Lindsay White. She is here joining us today. I'm so excited because, if you've been following our mental health series, you'll notice that we've been talking about different topics that impact mental health. If you missed our very first episode, check out our first episode around surrounding stigmas in mental health. But today we are going to get into it and talk about how social media impacts mental health. And so I've got my girl, Miss Lindsay White, with us from the ZNN Influential. She is the CEO. And in case you missed last episode, tell us a little bit about yourself, Lindsay.
Yes, I am truly an advocate for those who are wanting to be successful, whether it is career ready or you're, just going to further your education. Either way, that choice is yours. And I have the tools, solutions from my perspective, experience and education that can help you get there. And please, by all means, use the resources that I provide on my different platforms. And just win. That is my spiel on that.
You better say a word. Go ahead, just win. That's it, because that's all we're doing out here. We just trying to make sure people are winning at all costs.
Yes.
We gotta do it. All right. Now, in case you don't know who I am Evelie Alexander, the founder of the Good Resume Project, which is a part of our nonprofit called Community Outreach and Advocacy Corporation. And by the name, you could already probably tell what it is. But what we like to do is empower individuals professionally and personally. We love to help them level up and make sure that they are balanced and positioned appropriately for their next phase of their career. And we'll talk about plugs at the end. But without further ado, let's just dive right in, y'all. Let's dive right in. Because I know, let me tell y'all, before we get started, me and Lizzie have had a lot of technical issues. Y'all. So you know what? The devil is a lie and he is busy, but he's not going to we refuse. Okay. We are here. You're right. Here. Okay. Social media's impact on mental health. Woo! Now, y'all, I know I can say this honestly. I'm not like the biggest person. Like, I won't go on social media like every day. I'm always maybe a day or two, you know what I mean? I'll use it for what I have to use it for work, if I'm promoting or posting. But I'm not like constantly scrolling. But I know that a lot of people, that's the first thing they do in the morning is they wake up and they're going straight to Instagram or straight to their Facebook or straight to whatever social media platform there is to check out the latest feed, to check out the latest gossip, to check out whatever is on their feed. Are you like that, Lindsay? Do you check out your social media like first thing in the morning?
No, ma'am. And that's when you touched on it. That is not a good thing. Again, balance is my key. So it's positives and negatives to the social media, but how you start your day is how, the impact or the trajectory of your success will go. So I start my day with a prayer, with a word, with uplifting myself, because getting on that social media platform, not in the right mental space, again, can determine your mood for that day. So if you are looking in the DM like, oh, why is he or why is she in my DM? That brings the mood down, or comparison is a thief of joy. You see a good announcement from someone else that, that you believe shouldn't have been blessed in that sense. So I do not advise getting on social media as soon as you wake up. I do not advise that at all. And no, I did not do that.
That's so important because, social media has really become a true integral part of everyone. You can't escape it. And including like business owners, you have to be on there nowadays. You have to. you're not promoting a reel or putting out a video or a picture or whatever.
Content. Yeah.
Content is
Yes.
key. And even without that, people are posting lives. They're going in downward spiral sometimes on social media. So it's there's benefits, there's pluses, and there's minuses, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So let's talk about it. How do you think excessive use of social media has impacted the mental health as a whole? And what do you think?
That's a good question.
That's deep, right? Like,
yes, because it is a huge impact. So don't get us wrong. Social media is a huge platform for, and it's beneficial to the, the content, the influencer, the networker, the person who lives in a small town but needs to be, exposed or shown, or can make those connections to their elevation or their next level in life. So it is good for that. But if you start to fall in the place where like you are trying to compete or keep up with the Joneses, or you're not meeting your milestones or your goals as your peers or everyone that you're looking at, then that is what brings on the social anxiety, the depression. Those are the negative factors in it. So get on there and get your gems and then get off and then get to work. Because social media is not your Bible, is not your degree, and it is not, your end all be all. That is simply one of the tools to take you to the next level, not the entire package.
Exactly. I think that's exactly the point. I think, with social media, balance is key. Like you said, you have to balance it out throughout your day. Stop getting on it first thing in the morning, take a break from it. And in fact, like Lindsay said, if you're spiritual, pray in the morning, fast in the morning, do something uplifting, and then you can get on social media, but don't let that take away from the work that you have to do throughout the day, because I think the excessive use of social media causes us to lose who we are, how we're supposed to be interacting throughout the day, proper communication, making eye contact. When me and my husband went out to dinner a few weeks ago, and we so in our household we practice like no phones at the dinner table. No, we're gonna talk as a family. Like we still, for some people that's old school, but when we went out to dinner, everybody was just on their phone, and you could just see them scrolling through social media. And I'm like, I guess that we made a point. Like, I guess they're on a date, because, like, why else would they be here? And we literally had a couple who, she had a ring on her finger, so I assumed that she and the guy were married or whatever, but she was literally on her phone the whole time. He was literally on his phone the whole time. The waiter brought the food out. They ate. And while they were eating, they were still on their phone. Nobody had a conversation. There was no communication back and forth, and then when they got done eating, then they may have said like a few words to each other before getting back on their phone. Like, for me, that's excessive.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And losing the ability to connect with one another, and losing the ability to even know the proper functions of how to communicate. Now, communication becoming old school? Like, is regular talking becoming old school?
Yes.
Because, it's a crazy thing. I mean, we sat there and we talked. Our kids were there, and because we encourage no phone usage, period, when we're connecting as a family, and even there's period, like that, unless that's the zone, unless that's the vibe. But most of the time, it's like, let's actually talk and have conversation. And how was your day for real? Like, let's people watch together. Do people even watch anymore, or do they just
yes. I mean, I'm just saying, that's another form that you tapped in about mental health. Like, as a woman, as a man, you become the next version of yourself each year, in a matter of months, based on the new job, based on the new realm that you're tapped in, whatever that is. So I feel those conversations and like hearing you play that out with the person that you love or the person you're building this life with or sharing this life with, that's essential to you guys making it to that next level. Because I'm not married, but I dream of that. And I just see like when the marriages they last, it's because they respectfully allowed them to eat, and to meet one another in that next version of who they become as a woman or as a man. And they're having those connections, having those difficult conversations. Because at this point, if I can't communicate with you, I'm gaining a perspective from the social media. I'm gaining a perspective from their ideal or their personified version of what love is. And everybody has their different love language. Everyone has their different way they receive love, so it's essential to like have those conversations and to truly meet. And again, to each his own. If you are cool with your man or your woman sitting like this the whole time, I'm just not. Like, baby, talk to me. Or let's not do this again.
It's all about, you got to set those precedences.
Right. Right.
Like, I think, and I know we'll eventually talk about it throughout these series or these episodes, but communication is the thing, right?
Yes.
You need open communication. You need to talk. You need to have, like, when you're talking, the energy is moving, it's flowing.
Right.
If you're having a bad day and you really need to get something off your chest, you want to be with somebody who you could be like, man, you know what? Even if I had a really hard day. Let me tell you, talk to me. Whatever, because it impacts you when you keep negative, toxic.
Yes.
That impacts you.
And also though, it's cool because we believe the person we are having these conversations with, just because we're communicating with them, it's getting relieved. But if they aren't receptive, they're not comprehending what we're saying, and they're not breathing or pouring back into us, that mess still festers. That mess has not been eliminated. We don't feel better. We haven't got anything off our chest. It's actually still right here because we talk to a body, not you know what I mean? Not someone that's, because I really do. Everyone says communication is key, but comprehension is key. Because like, if I'm telling you something and you still haven't, met me halfway or changed what I'm asking, or, filled into me or poured into me as though I'm pouring into you, or I believe I'm pouring into you, and we can't communicate that to like, hey, you missing me, I'm missing you, then it's, that the comprehension is the number one for me.
Girl, you said a word, because maybe that's when people feel that's why they feel like they have to go to social media, because their friends, their likes, they put this picture out, they put this video out, they're getting more likes and more adoration. So it looks and feels as if I'm getting what I need from social media. I'm chasing peace because either the person that I have at home, or maybe I just don't have anybody at home, or like you said, they just aren't comprehending what I'm saying. But now on social media, I done found people I can connect to that truly get me, or they truly get me. Now when I slide into somebody DM, so sometimes but it's still like, social media has its ups, it has its downs, it has its perks, it has its benefits. But there's a lot of, like, if we're real, like, there's a lot of negativity that's out there. I mean, you got people doing stuff on social media. I mean, even to break it down, where people are on lives and they're killing each other on lives and shooting each other, taking their lives, and people are watching this, and they're watching, crazy police chases and fights, like random street. I know.
Plotting and scheming and watching. That's how a lot of our predominant successful rappers lost their lives, because the locations being dropped or shared, and everyone's intention wasn't to say, oh wow, nice bag, or I see you ran it up at the Da Vinci store or something, or Louis or wherever you're into. Like, I seen you did that. No, it's, oh, okay. He got
Yeah.
this. I want what he has. You
Yeah.
know.
I want
Again,
it's
it's
the
a, yeah. It's a mental thing. Like, why do you think that him earning that you deserve the right to take it? Why do
wow.
you not? You have the same 24 hours, may not have the same opportunity, so to speak, and it's just because the limited resources, or the demographic, or your upbringing, however that case may go. But still, you taking it from them, put your life at risk, put them at danger. So whatever you took, you won't be able to enjoy. So where are you at mentally thinking that was okay? You know?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're right. It's the constant comparison on social media. I
Yeah.
think that really negatively impacts like self-esteem, and it
Yeah.
can impact body image, because I remember growing up, like Black women, I mean, we're always curvy and whatnot, but then at
Yeah.
some point
Yeah.
it got outrageous too. I'm just transitioning
Mhm.
now. Like, it got outrageous
Yeah.
to the point where, people, all these, every last woman wants a small waist,
Right.
huge butt. Like,
Right.
girl, where you
Right.
going on that? And why are you putting those?
Right.
So these women
Right.
are doing because they're trying to live up to what society deems as beautiful,
Right.
what
Yeah.
what these rappers or these this image that has been created.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? For what a
Yeah.
woman should be. Where in reality, it takes away from how a woman is naturally built. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
she may have a nice size behind, or she may not, you know,
Right.
but
Right.
but she's so uncomfortable with how she
Yeah.
looks,
And
because of
honestly,
that.
that, yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
comparison.
And
We're
honestly,
always
that whole work and that changing your look, you'll never honestly be satisfied if you always are seeking the enhancements anyway, because you're never going to be there, because it's always going to be like, it's like an addiction,
yeah,
just like any other addiction. Like, it's going to be something, oh, I want to improve this, I want to do this. So like, ultimately, is it you? Are you providing the self-care? Do you have the self-love? Is it someone that you're allowing in your space that's pushing you to, to make you feel like you're not enough?
yeah,
Because there's the natural bodies. I'm like, y'all are it. You've been it. You always will be it. Like
yeah.
that's it.
The funny part about that, right? Social media has coined this whole separation of the natural body and the baddie body, right?
Right,
Like, and I'm
right,
just
right,
like,
right.
man, why are we're there? And sometimes we're affected and we don't even know. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Is what women and people really are aspiring to be. And yes, it's a good thing because you can see other people, how they do things or whatever, but nobody knows what goes on behind the cameras. Nobody
yeah,
knows what
yeah,
anybody else is dealing with. And if you are always
yeah,
chasing, honey,
yeah.
shift your mind. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like,
right.
it's what's up here, because when
Mhm.
this is together, when this is, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
stable, then a lot of this other
There's no
stuff,
limitations to where you can go. Yes.
there's no
Yes.
limitations. We have to break the chains in our minds, the shackles in our minds. We have to shift that. Once we shift that, then we can show up a little differently. And
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not comparing. We're not, on our feet like, oh, let me see what they got. Let me see this new bag they got out
Yeah.
here today. Let me
Right.
see this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, her body is giving. Look at this. This
Yes.
baby. Not
Yes.
everybody thinking they can wear the same thing. Girl, now
Right.
you
Right.
can't do all that because you're trying to compare.
Right.
You have
Right.
an image of who you are, what you should look like, and what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And it's hard, and that for a lot of
Yeah.
people, if they're not meeting whatever standards they're seeing on social media,
Yeah.
then it
Yeah.
negatively impacts them, and
Yeah.
sends them, like you said, into sometimes, depending on the person, a downward depression, or
Yeah.
them they're not able to see outside of themselves. So
Yeah.
that's a thing. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me ask you this, Lindsay. Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
So I touched on a little earlier of how you have the negative content that's shown, right? A little, some of the stuff that's a little more extreme.
Mhm.
But what do you think about cyberbullying, right? I think that's a big thing.
Yes. It's a
It's sticking
two-headed
from
sword because it's like what we are saying, right? Like
yeah.
we lack the self-esteem or we lack the confidence, so we are getting the enhancements, right? But in the same side, I'm even guilty of this. I'll see a woman with like the extra bust or the extra, and or a woman that's like just basically not catering to her body size or to her frame or to her look. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, baby, you have all the confidence, maybe 12 times more than me. That a little bit that I need. I need to get some of that confidence so I could, stop picking these Einsteins. But I feel like we do that. So it's like we want to like say, hey, just be you, love you, do your thing. But then when we see these Lizzos or these Coy Rays, we're like, wait a minute. When are you gonna put some clothes on? You know what I mean? So I feel like that's when it starts. It's like, wait a minute. So are we gonna celebrate these people that have the confidence and it's just loving them? They are full of self-care and the strength, and they know their worth. Or are we going to sit there and crucify them or criticize them because they wear so much revealing stuff because they love them, so they love themselves so much. So it's kind of confusing to the adolescent or to someone that's coming up into the social media, or they're trying to like find a voice or trying to, you know what I mean? Or trying to build that confidence because they're like, wait a minute. So if I'm happy with my size, somebody's going to criticize me because they feel like I shouldn't be in that outfit. Or, or should I not, or should I like limit what I show or not show any, you know what I mean? So it's really like the cyberbullying is very, very dangerous because people do that. Like, unconsciously they do it, and they do it, to people, and you never know what anyone's battling internally. People clearly of that intelligent newscaster and supermodel that we lost had the best smile in the world and the most, so educated. It's just amazing. Just breathed life into everyone she's, conversed with, and she took her life. Like we never know what someone is facing internally. You never know how strong a body armor or the breastplate that they're putting on this face to people. So like that cyberbullying thing is just so easy because people just transfer energy. They jump from situations not healed from, and then they're transferring that energy onto others. So it's the cyberbullying thing is, I feel like they do it, naturally, and sometimes they do it because they've been hurt. They're like, oh, I'm just transferring what someone said to me. And then some people are just, unfortunately just negatively like, well, I'm coming on here to criticize. I'm coming on here to put my nose up,
Well, I think you're right too. I think cyberbullying can even go further, like with kids. We have a lot of kids who, in this digital age, they are in social media. I get, like when you and I were growing up, that wasn't like, well, I don't know. I'm a little older than you, so Facebook, like social media, didn't come out until I was in college, and so before that, it was like we had MySpace. I really wasn't on it. It was Black on it, on my
I love MySpace, girl. I was changing my page.
It really didn't give like the same level that it is now. Like we're on a totally new platform, a totally new way. This is the way in which the world operates, and so kids are on it much earlier. And cyberbullying with children, we're seeing such an increase in suicide because of cyberbullying. Like outside of just depression and anxieties and some of the other things that we experience, for some kids, this is the thing that's causing them to feel less about themselves, them to their peers, because they don't have the strong foundation to say, wow, I am more than what you're telling me I am. Or because they're so hungry to fit in, and because they want to be liked so bad, they are succumbing to these cyberbullying attacks. It pains me to see these little kids go through a lot of that. And I think with parents, when you are a parent who does their due diligence, and you are fully aware of what's going on in the world. We know that we can't prevent a lot of social media access, but there are ways that you can block certain things. You could,
Yeah.
set limitations in your household, and and you pray. Me, I cover my kids. I'll say that. I'll probably say this a lot, because when you cover them, I believe that spiritually, they'll have the tools, the fortification to be protected
Exactly.
from that type
Exactly.
of stuff
Right.
out there. But you just
Right.
never know. It doesn't
Yeah.
impact. It doesn't mean they won't ever go through it. It doesn't mean that.
Right.
But they're getting
No.
kids are telling other kids to go kill themselves, and they're
Right.
getting their team on board, like the other kids in the school,
Right.
to and that for a kid is, they
Yeah.
already aren't expressive. So certain kids aren't expressive. They already internalize so much. They already have more of an empathic spirit, and it's like, man, y'all are
Yeah. Yeah.
vicious,
Yeah.
vicious here.
Yeah.
That's
Because
hard.
it's just like in a company, and just
Yeah,
like with your own self, it starts from the head, and that's
yeah,
where it trickles down. So if the parents or the teachers aren't healed mentally, aren't there
mhm,
and showing up every day for these children, like I'm not the best parent. So I tell my kids all the time, I'm apologizing for how I
yeah,
acted off of stimulus. I'm telling them like, oh, I react to this because this is something I'm working on. I have to
yeah,
have the accountability. I tell my daughter like, you know, be a lady. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Make sure you speak your mind when it's your turn, when it's time for you to say it. Make sure you have your ducks in a row. And I'm telling my son like, you know be quick to listen and slow to speak. So
yeah,
when you say as a man, and you'll be authoritative, and when you do say your voice, that they understand that you mean business. You don't have to
right.
always be in every conversation, you know what I mean? Just educating them. And when they ask questions, giving them the answer. Because a lot of times we're like camouflaging or like sugarcoating or want to withhold stuff. Like, no, I'd rather you be exposed too soon by me who loves you and cares about you than the
Yeah.
world who,
Well,
whatever. Yeah, I'm
they
going to tell
will
you.
tell you. Yeah, the
Right,
world is a hard
right,
place to be in.
right,
So
right.
that, to me, I feel like those are really great. Like, it's a great segue
Yeah.
this. Like, let's talk about the
Yes,
tips, because
yes,
this is the part where we love to provide. That's why we're Tipsy Tuesday.
yes.
We
Right.
provide to help you thrive, to help you move forward, in whatever part of your life, professionally, personally, mentally, physically, whatever that looks like. And so here are the things we touched on. Let's
Mhm,
limit your social media usage, y'all. Let
mhm,
try to limit it as much as possible. At best, you could probably set a timer to say, okay, you know what? I've done the things that I needed to do today.
mhm,
Right?
mhm,
And
yeah,
I feel like this is different for business owners and for
mhm,
personal. So if you're a business owner, schedule your content so that you're not
mhm,
always on there. If you are
mhm,
in a place of having somebody manage your comments and your feed, have them manage it so that you can come up off of it and focus on
mhm,
business aspects, business
mhm.
operations, partnerships, developing your business even more.
Yeah,
If you're at that space, right?
yeah,
If you're personally, set a time. Say, you know what? I am only going to be on social media from the hours of, I don't know, 10 to 11, or
mhm,
or maybe when I
mhm.
get off of work, I'll just check up to see what everybody's doing the day, or I'm on lunch. So let me just, get
Right,
on social
right.
media at that time, and cut it off, but try and limit it as much as you can. If you're somebody who wakes up, you get on it, you hop on it, and you go to sleep on it, and you're doing it
Yeah,
throughout the day, I'm
yeah,
gonna say that that's a bit excessive.
yeah,
That's me personally.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that that's a bit excessive.
Yeah.
you know?
Unless you're completely good with it, you're not seeing your mental change or your mood waver, and it's beneficial, and that's where the money resides for you. Go off, stink. Go off.
Okay. All right. And you know what I find is good though? Curating your social media feed.
Mhm.
Like, first of all, I think it starts with who you connected to. Don't just connect with
Mhm.
any and everybody. I think when I first
Mhm.
started out on Facebook, like, because it was new, and I was a part of like the colleges, they had just given it out to colleges, and my college was a part of
Mhm.
it. That's how
Mm-hmm.
far back I was when Facebook was starting. Like I was on it, and
Mm-hmm.
only for college platforms for a certain amount of time. I think it was a pilot just to see how it was, and then it just took off.
Mm.
Or I
Yeah.
could be wrong. That's what I was told back and then. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just friending everybody, just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're a friend, okay, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Until a point where even just recently, I was like, let me let me figure out who I'm befriending
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
know, everybody, while I know you, or maybe we've been in the same circle, maybe you're in my hemisphere or somewhere in my personal world. I don't want to see what's on your social media feed because you put a lot of
Yeah.
negative stuff. If I start to see negative content from somebody continuously, I
Yeah.
block them. I take them
Yeah.
as I remove them as a friend because it I can say that it hadn't impacted me emotionally, but there have been spaces and times where I needed to see nothing but positivity
Yeah.
go
Right.
on social media.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So now
I
it's for
internalize that. Yeah.
you say
I
what?
internalize. Yes. No, I'm right with you. I internalize that. If I see
Yes.
negativity or bashing, I'm like, oh, it just took my chest, my heart out my chest. Like I'm trying to, get my mind together. Yeah.
You try to be positive and you try to be a light in the world. And it's sometimes, guys, it's really hard to be a light in the world when you have so many other things dimming your light.
Right.
And, you know, if you are more open-minded into thinking everything is energetic, everything impacts you, and you may not even be considering the fact that you're looking at certain things
Hmm.
that could impact you mentally. It may not directly feel like that, but I'm a big believer in what you put into your body, whether that's through your mouth, whether that's through seeing it, whether that's through hearing it, and whether that's through any of what are you putting in your house? What are you putting around you? Because if it's not all positive, if it's not all good for you, if it's not all beneficial for you, that can sometimes take you further away from who you're
Yeah.
supposed to be and the
Right.
light you're supposed to shine on others.
Right.
So I think this is the last piece. Like that's why you should practice digital detoxes. you know, I
Mm,
hear
yep.
you
Yep.
probably hear it all the time. Two people are like, "Oh, well, I'm going to go on a digital fast. Like I'm not going to go on
Hmm.
social media. They're on a social media fast."
Hmm.
Practice
Hmm.
those. They may sound silly to some people, but if you're somebody who's always on social media and you just need a good break to readjust, realign, take a quick detox. It's okay to do that. It's okay to take a moment to just say, okay, let me be in the world around me right now. Let me
Hmm.
enjoy what's in front of my face versus on this phone. So those are my few cents. Lindsay, do you
I
have
like
anything to
those.
add to this?
I like all of those. I think everything was awesome. Again, just, these are suggestions. These are tips. These are resources when your way that doesn't help you, or that hasn't been helping you, you need more. That's what this is for. Just,
Yeah.
again, I always just encourage people, like, if it works for you, you like it, I love it. So just do what's best for you, because I wouldn't, personally know that I'm not you, but this is what, as me, as being a leader and being a CEO, transparency has been key
Yeah.
to me to see other people become successful. So if,
Yeah.
social media is like bogging you down and you feel negatively about a lot of things on social media, you're not getting poured into as you hope from it, then remove it. If you want to be on social media and want to control the content that you see and put out there, do that. Make sure you're following like-minded individuals. Everything that, if you go to the explore page, everything that you've liked, they create like a little template for you, a lot of other sites and different things that you've clearly liked prior, and that's what you'll see the majority of. And make sure you continue to do that, because there is a lot of creative minds out there. There's a lot of businesses out there. There's a lot of spiritual pages out there. There's a lot of athletic pages out there. There's a lot of food pages out there, travel, different things. There's a lot. Social media is beneficial if you use it in a beneficial way, in a positive manner. And
that's important.
yeah.
That's so important. I hope that these tips were helpful to you. We are from a space of creating positivity and being impactful and just sharing some of our experiences, what we've seen, and we hope that we can connect to someone
Mhm.
who may be thinking, man, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I've been saying that I needed to take a break from social media, but I really
Mhm.
didn't know how to because either
Mhm.
everything I do is on social media or because I'm a
Yeah.
brand, I'm a business, I need to do it,
Yeah.
or like I this is my life. How would I live without social media? So hopefully
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
get some tips, because mental health is impacted in so many ways, and
Right.
sometimes you don't even think how social media can truly seep in there,
Right.
and cause some shifts. So my goodness, first of all, let's go and talk about the things that we obviously are here for too. I like to do shameless plugs. Now you all know if you've been watching my series, you've been knowing shameless plugs is it. This is the part of the episode where we give people the opportunity to follow us, connect with us beyond this platform. And so, my goodness, guys, Lindsay, girl, tell them what it is. Follow her
So follow
on.
me on IG. It's
Mhm.
Miss White. You say Miss Dot White underscore. My business page is in the bio. Follow me on both, Facebook as well. I do a lot of lives. I post a lot of material. I drop free gems, free game. Just different kind of nuances and different things through my experience again and my beliefs, and just different things just to keep you positive, uplifted, encouraged, and successful. And just whatever.
All the things. She does all the things. She's full of positivity, bright light she is. And of course, you already know what it is. If you want to follow me, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. You can. I have two personal Instagram accounts.
Mhm.
Business Community Outreach and Advocacy Corporation. It is COAC_GA. My personal Instagram is Everly.Alexander. You can see it right here. And then on Facebook, it's COACGA, all written together. I'm out here being positive. I'm out here trying to help underserved communities. I'm out here trying to help professionals get back into the workforce, transition careers. I'm trying to spread awareness. I am a big, 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 big believer in self-sufficiency and
Mhm.
making sure that people have the resources and tools to thrive, to do just what they are intended to do, who they are intended to be on this earth. That is what I help do. So once again, thank you, Miss Lindsay, for joining us on this second episode on how social media impacts mental health. It is always such a pleasure to work with you. It definitely is.
Likewise, likewise,
All
friend. Yes.
right. All right, guys. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things. Okay. Don't just look at the video and just keep it moving. Subscribe, share, tell somebody, tag somebody, let them know what's up. We're doing good
Yeah.
things. All right. Okay. Until next time. Peace. All right. We'll edit that. All right. I thought that was good. All right. I
Yeah.
know we're beyond time,
Right, we
but
did. I was just getting into it.
okay, let's do workplace and maybe we can
Okay.
make workplace shorter. Maybe
Yeah, we do shorter for workplace because
we do shorter for
we
workplace. All
bosses. We don't really like the workplace.
right. Let's talk about the workplace.
Telling you.
Where is it? I gotta find my whew, girl, and then that'll be our last one, and we'll be good
Okay.
to go. And I may, depending on because it's only a few more, like a week and a half left.
Mhm.
I'll probably do this multiple days. I'll probably share multiple days.
Okay.
All right. Uh, Okay, 1, 2, 3. Did I put that on the thing? Yeah, I did. All right, let me know when you are ready, girl. We'll do the second one. You ready?
Yes, hold on. I'm trying to get back
Okay.
to. Okay.
Ready?
Hmm.
All right. I should probably do. I didn't put my little Tipsy Tuesday ticker. It's cool. I'm gonna let it go. All right, let's get into it. Set and hey guys, welcome back to the final episode in our Tipsy Tuesday series. I am back with Miss Lindsay White. She is the CEO of ZNN Influential. And of course, if you've been following the series, you already know me, Evalie Alexander, founder of the Good Resume Project, CEO of Community Outreach and Advocacy Corporation. And before we get into it, let the viewers know who you are. Okay, let them know because if y'all don't know who Lindsay is, y'all about to get to know her at this point. Girl, tell me who
I
you are.
am Lindsay White. I'm CEO of ZNN Influential. I am a true advocate for the community and just individuals that are seeking success, whether it is career readiness or college ready. I just want to be as transparent, as positive, uplifting, and as encouraging as I can be daily to make sure they have all the tools and resources to be successful. I like to see everyone win because we can all be at the top.
We can. I love that. I love that. We all can be at the top. And of course, that's what I stand for. I love to help people level up, thrive, get to the next level in their lives, whether that's personally, professionally.
Mhm.
And that's why Lindsay and I have connected, like-minded individuals trying to do good in the world, trying to help other people's do even better, go further, be the light that God has created them to be. And so that is why we are here. And today, guys, on this Tipsy Tuesday episode, y'all, this the workplace
Woo!
and mental health. Okay, we are talking about the
Yes.
workplace. We are talking about its impact on your mental health. I mean, this one is heavy, but
Yes.
but I do believe that we'll talk about some great tips. The workplace working itself is our common. That's our common. So I find that a
Right.
lot of people might resonate with this episode. We hope that you do. We hope that you resonate with the tips that we'll provide, um, in how you can also protect your mental health at work. Because
Mhm.
that's going to be the key. But let's dive right into it, Miss Lindsay. So we know that
Mhm.
as working people, now business owners may be a little different, but majority of the world, the country, they're working 9 to 5s, or 7 to 4s or whatever, your common
Right.
jobs. They have the structure. And we are finding that a lot of people are struggling with mental health issues in the workplace. Okay.
Yeah.
So question for you. I have
Mhm.
a great starting questions. I think that mental health concerns are typically stigmatized. I know earlier we talked about stigmas in the workplace. So if you missed episode 1, go back to episode 1 where we talked about just stigmas in mental health in general. But there are
Right.
a lot of stigmas in the workplace that lead to a reluctance of people seeking help. Um, it leads to employers not supporting their employees appropriately when it comes to mental health issues in the workplace. But this is something for the organizations. How can organizations foster a culture of openness and acceptance, where employees feel comfortable discussing their mental health and seeking the appropriate accommodations?
That's a really, really good question. But it's just what everyone needs. It's like trust. That's universal. we're never going to be ourselves or open up until this trust is established. I'm not saying you need to know all of my business, but I need to know that you're out for my best interest. I need to know that I'm supported with my upward mobility, or if I'm the person that wants to settle or, stay where I'm at. I love this position. Do I have that work stability? Will I be replaced when the software is updated, when the salary changes, when the pay scale changes? The trust is number one, and the consistency. So if we're going to come in and show that, hey, we're gung-ho on this, or we're going to be this effective corporation that's diverse, and we're there for culture, and we are there to retain those top talented employees, you have to maintain that mantra. And it starts with the leadership. It starts with recruiting and placing these leaders in these roles because they're passionate, they're successful, they can do this job well, and they've done it prior to that. It shouldn't be based on simply just because credentials, unfortunately, or their last name, or anything that does not have to do with being a people person or a people manager. It really does take a natural ability. And through my experience, it's something that a lot of qualities that you can't teach, that aren't teachable, that you have to come with that. You have to be a person that handles, problematic situations, de-escalations, and take that and put it in a way that your people underneath can feel like, hey, okay, so this is what I'm doing. I'm inspiring them to reach these goals. I'm educating them to surpass their expectations, to align that, not to say, oh, they got on me, so I'm gonna get on y'all, and we just gonna be in here just running around with our heads cut off because, and just pointing the finger. Like you have to be able to break that down. You have to get excited about change, setting goals, and hitting those numbers, and then seeing everybody around you win. It really, I believe that that's a personality trait that you're born with. I haven't been able to, again, through my experience, I haven't been able to teach someone to be empathetic. I've been able to teach them a system, a software, or, the completion, or, a workflow or a standard document, but I haven't been able to teach someone characteristic traits. Honestly, I feel like that's a God-given natural ability that you have to be hungry to develop,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You do have to be hungry to develop that, because some people, I realize there are not a lot of people that are empathetic in the workplace.
Right.
Period. Like they're just not empathetic. And so in the workplace, it's like, hey, this is business. I don't care what you got going on at home. That's the whole thing. You got this going on at home. You have this going on in your personal life. But here in the workplace, this is what we need. This is what we need from you. And so how do you think employers could just merge the two? Like you were saying that trust is a big deal, but I think a lot of companies don't know how to develop trust, and I think just from me working with certain people and recognizing just who I am and some of the empathetic characteristics that I have, I think that just by making certain things relatable and giving people grace for certain areas in their life, and not holding work and personal and most employers, like, they both work up here and your personal stuff is down here. It should be like this, because if the personal side is taken care of, this person can effectively handle the task.
Yes, exactly.
That they have to do. And so
again, that's an internal mechanism. So like if everything you say, or you compare people to, I heard that a lot. They'll say, oh, if I can do it, they can do it. Like, no, not necessarily. That's something maybe, you are better in this lane, but that's why you have to be a people manager and put them in situations to be successful. If I have, this was a pandemic, we clearly seen that you can be successful working from home, but now we have to change depending on the department, but depending on the services rendered, you have to come back into the facility. If I know that this is a woman that does excellent work. I've never seen her, fall short of a task. Whatever was done, my expectations were exceeded in abundance. I
Mhm.
wouldn't scrutinize her about her time. I'm not going to
Yeah.
have her. She's saying, "Oh, I'm this. I'm coming from a commute 2 hours away, but I want this job." Well, guess what? You're coming around the Beltway. You coming from, depending on which direction. Why don't you take the 10 or 11 schedule and then you could stay later? Is that something we can accommodate you with? Can we
Mm.
present you with the hybrid kind of thing? It takes the leader or the manager to really want their people to be successful. It's not always a comparison. Oh, I can do it, or I'm putting up with it, or I'm unhappy with it, or I'm making a sacrifice. Well, maybe
Mhm.
their life isn't set up to be sacrificial in any realm at this moment. What
Yeah.
about you to allow that? Because
Yeah.
a lot of departments, they establish such a high bar so soon, so early in the workflow or in that work, relationship, that
Yeah.
it quickly falls short because it's like
Yeah.
you're not even the same person from the interview to
Exactly.
being in the workplace. So that's the trust. Like, just stay that
Mhm.
person, maintain that consistency, or, change your initial process. Like, say, hey, we need people. And throughout this duration of our work relationship, you're going to see different versions of me because I'm losing people. Like, you know what I mean? Who's
Mhm.
comfortable with being that honest to help? Like, but it really, I just feel like, honestly, it's a characteristic trait. Like, you have to
It is.
be willing enough and transparent enough to establish that trust. And people see, like, if you're going to give me the good and the bad, you're obviously giving me the real, because
Yeah.
who is going to serve me the bad and allow me to make the decision? That's when you
Agreed.
start to see, okay, you know what, you might be someone I want around because you're not giving it to me how I want it to be. You're not giving me everything in a bundle of roses. You're giving me reality. You're giving me,
You're
um,
giving me, yeah, you're giving me transparency. You're giving me
yeah,
realness. It's like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to you want to have a transparent conversation, but there are a lot of people who don't. And oh my gosh, and I could probably go on and on and on about
yeah,
tunnel structure because you
yeah.
know you're right. It starts from the leadership team. If
Hmm.
the leadership team is skewed in any kind of
Hmm.
way, they're
Right,
not leading with compassion. They're not
right.
leading with um, creating a balance. They're not leading with strategies surrounding that. Then their employees and the way that their employees operate will fail.
Yeah.
And it does impact revenue. It impacts so many things. But
Yes.
mental health essentially in the workplace, um, oftentimes I see comes from stress.
Right,
Like people are overworked, honey.
right, right.
They are overworked.
Overworked,
They are
underpaid,
underpaid.
unappreciated.
They have nothing else to give, and they are
Right,
giving sometimes every morsel and every ounce that they have left.
right,
And
right.
when employers see that, they take advantage sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
I had one of my old employers, girl. Oh, I probably shouldn't, but it's a lot.
Right. No, woo, I know, I know.
They put more jobs on you than you
Mhm.
were even hired for. I
Right,
found myself in a
right.
situation where I was hired for a certain job,
Mhm.
and I started out with that certain job, but then
Right.
when another person left, you know how they say, "Oh, well, can you handle these tasks from what this other person was doing for a little bit?" And then that
Mhm.
turns into a job because they don't hire fast enough. They don't have the
Right,
capacity to hire, or they
right.
don't hold
Mhm.
that priority. And now you're
Right,
stuck working a job that, number one, you weren't even hired for. Number two,
right.
a job that they're expecting all of
Mhm.
these end results and these goals and
Yeah,
strategies
yeah.
met. And it's like, oh no, you're effective at it.
Right,
So you can't do this role,
right.
and
Yeah.
they never seem to ask,
Mhm.
how are you? How are you?
Right. Yeah.
And some people may disagree with this conversation. They may say, oh, like we said earlier, that's business. This is how business operates. Or have
Yeah.
we been conditioned to think that this is how
Right.
business operates? When do we
Right.
start taking the person and what they're feeling and what they're going through out of the equation? Because these are duties and tasks that would not even exist if you didn't have a body working them,
Right. Right.
or AI. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
So
Right.
what
No, but that's true.
who are you? And so because we know we need these bodies in these seats, and we know we need these
Mhm.
bodies to work, let's as employers take into account how they're doing, how their
Right.
personal life is. I
Right.
remember I had one really good employer, and she would always, every morning, she would either send out an email, or when we'd have um, a group meeting, she would just do a check-in. Like the first 10 minutes was, how's everybody doing?
Right.
How are you today? Like, let me tell you how I am. I'm going to start out. I'm not feeling my best or whatever. It's that level
Mhm.
of transparency that then opens, like you said, the door for everyone else to
Right.
now feel comfortable,
Yeah.
because we know we got to do this job, but are you making me comfortable to even really want to be here? Do I feel
Right.
valued
Yeah.
to even be
Yeah.
here? Even if I'm crumbling mentally, like, and I'm on the
Mhm.
verge of just tears and not even knowing what to do with my life that day,
Yeah.
as an employer who is in tune. I had one employer who looked at me one day. I was going through a lot years ago, and I think I was just breaking down in my office, just crying, like personally. She came in, she wanted to
Mhm.
ask me a question. She just looked at me and was like, it's okay. Go home. You need a moment. Go home. Take the rest of the week. It's okay. Whatever it is,
Mhm.
I can
Mhm.
come back later.
Yeah.
That type of compassion, that type of empathy,
Right.
that type of knowing,
Yeah.
is big, and I
Right.
think that is what a lot of employers, number one, lack.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I give kudos to the ones who are trying. They realize that they
Yeah.
lack it, and then they're trying to implement
Yeah.
ways to
Yeah.
shift, to adjust
Yeah.
that, to say, hey, we are an inclusive culture. Not only do we
Right.
include everything, but we consider your mental health. We are
Yeah.
open communication. We are transparent. We are genuine. We are authentic. This is who we are. These are the threads of what our pillars are as we grow as a company. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you have to have that um, as
Yeah.
an organization.
Yeah.
you know,
I've never honestly had a great manager at all at any of my employers. I
wow.
had benefits from there, as meaning, of course, they paid for my education, the completion of my education. That they paid for, so I'm going to obtain my fourth degree. I was
Oh my,
exposed to many softwares. I was always the self-sufficient person. I'm asking, like, oh, what do I have to do? What is
mhm.
that? What does that mean? They're like, oh, that's beneath you. That's not your job. And I'm like, oh yeah, I still want to know because I'm going to
I wanna
manage it. So I need to
mhm.
know how can I effectively manage something I don't know. You know,
That you don't. Yeah. But
but the world does that, right?
and you get that, right? You may get the this is how you do the work
Yeah,
stuff, right?
yeah,
But how do we
right.
impact? Nobody's
How
ever
can I
seen.
effectively help the boots in the field if I've never been the boots in the field? I need to see what their struggle is. I need to see what the win is. So if I'm going to be an advocate for process improvement, I need to know the process. So
Mhm.
I'm just very big on that. Like I've literally, and like you said, it's a mental stigma because in all of my leadership roles, I started off as like team lead, supervisor, then manager, then director. Every single person that's ever like had a meeting with me or I would do like weekly meetings of the minds or I do one-on-ones to like connect or like, like, hey, like, what's your goal? Like, what do you want to do from here? Cause I see so much in you. I'll give them like, the positive, what I see, and then I'll give them the feedback in which, areas of concern. And they're always like, they always ask me like, so are you new? Like, why are you so like nice? I'm not used to that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
it's not really nice. I'm just leading, honestly, because I don't
That's
like it. but I want you to win,
I like
so it's
you.
not,
Yeah, I want you
yeah,
to win. I want
nice.
you to win. I want you to have the tools, and I want you to talk to me. So, yeah,
Yeah.
encouraging that open communication, but
Yes.
it's not even about work, but just about mental
Right,
health.
right, right.
Because
Yeah,
that helps. That
yeah.
helps, like you said, alleviate some of that stress that they feel.
So much, so much. Because I'm like, was at a point where I'm like, working the job and in school, and having to make sure my kids are safe, and then it's just so much going on. Then I want to be a
Yeah.
part of church and grow in church. Then I'm thinking like, hey, I am not an employee. I'm the boss. So I'm thinking like, so much going on. So it's just so encouraging when you see
Yeah.
someone or you try to connect with someone in the areas or the arenas that you want to be. And then you get the feedback from them and they're like, oh, well, it's going to be hard. You got to go through this. Like, that's discouraging.
It
That's
is.
unfortunate, and I've seen that a lot. So that kind of like changed my mentality about how I
It
talk to
does.
people about their dreams. Like, I'm like, Scott, baby, if you want to be an astronaut, you are an astronaut. I don't care what your grades were in high school or what you're
Boom.
doing right now. Go
Mhm.
after it.
Go after
And
it.
yeah,
And don't let
understand.
anybody stop
Yeah,
you. Don't let anybody tell you anything
right,
different.
exactly,
I
exactly.
had a few people that say that to me in my career, and I remember specifically in my 20s,
Mhm.
I was getting ready to transition to another department,
Okay.
and somebody said to me, well, my manager at the time said, "You won't do well in that department. I don't even know why you want it. Your personality doesn't fit. You're too bubbly. You're too this, and this department is not that." And you know, first of all,
Wow.
it was a toxic work environment in
Yeah.
general
Yeah.
because it was led as a dictatorship and not a true leader,
Right.
not
Mhm.
someone who was often looking to build the skills of a person
Right.
or
Gotta collaborate. Mhm. Yeah.
it was more, I'm the boss, you do as
Oh,
I say. It was
okay.
more of a, I'm the boss, everybody gets quiet when that person comes into the room. Don't
Okay.
shh. That person was more of a, why are you talking doing work? Why what are you talking for? Like it was toxic. And
Yeah.
I
Like,
so when
why are
they
you
said,
breathing right now? Do you really need to
"Why are you
breathe?
doing it?" Yeah, what are
I'm
you doing?
so
Being
sorry.
why are y'all having fun?
I'm
You
so
need to be
sorry.
working. Make these phone calls and call it a day. So I was like,
Yeah.
when
Woo.
I decided to get out of that department to go to another
Mhm.
department that I thought was a little bit more,
Yeah.
flexible, and better fit for where I decided I would want to be. And plus, they saw me. The department saw me. They were like,
Yeah.
we like you, we want you."
Yeah.
They said to me, my manager said, "Hey, I don't think you're going to be a good fit, girl." I went to the department,
Yeah.
became one of the directors, like, and I was just like, you know, it's crazy how people's words can affect you because
Yeah.
at that time I was just like, wow, what is it about me that would not make a good fit here? Like it was
Right.
a jab, like it wasn't a full
Yeah.
pull mentally, but it was a, you know what I mean? Like, whoa, like
Yeah.
who are you thinking you're going to go and be successful somewhere else? When I was in
Mhm.
for sixth grade, my class wanted to nominate me as the most that. So you know how they get superlatives,
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
superlatives. Or if they
Yep.
wanted to
Mhm.
nominate me as somebody who would be the most successful, the teacher stopped in front of the class and was like, "No, Emily won't. No, that's not a good quality. Maybe we give her something else, but she doesn't make all A's. Maybe we pick the other student. There was a student who made all A's, you know, and those types of things stick with you because when you are truly in a mental health space, those type of things they play in your mind like, well, maybe I really am not going to be successful. I mean, they gave me the prettiest brown eyes, so
Mhm.
they dumbed me
Oh,
down to looks, honey. And I was like, I'm more than looks,
right.
I'm
Right.
not, this is not everything, okay?
Right. That is a sprinkle on top of everything. Excuse you.
It's a small sprinkle. This is like
Right.
one sprinkle on all the mini sprinkles that I bring
But
to the table.
hello.
Okay.
Right. On top of the
Okay.
cake, the table, the silverware, and the drinks.
Okay. And the ice cream. Please. So it was so many things throughout my life where people have used their level of communication, their power, their whatever, to
Mhm.
to just
In
really
your
try to
life.
push me down to break my
Yeah.
mental health. you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always like I encourage people now that I'm in spaces where I'm managing and have my own staff to, you know, I'm
Yeah.
always in a place of, well, first of all, how are you? We don't
Right.
ever start
Yeah.
conversations without how are you, and have a
Right.
full transparent conversation versus
Yes.
I'm doing good, you don't really don't hear me. No, like my
Yeah.
daughter and my son, they sick, and I don't know why every week they keep getting sick, and like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
just stressed out, you know. And
Yeah.
we create space, or like I'll pray for my nephew,
Yes.
or
Yes.
like pray for you
Yes.
because that's my ingraining. That's who I
That's
am,
mm-hmm.
you know. And so
Yeah.
it to think about the person first, then we can talk about
Right.
other stuff.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But that's how
And
you
let's
retain.
say, yeah, exactly. That's just so important. I love that. I definitely
Yeah,
am
girl,
right
you
on
got to
that.
do it. All right,
Yeah.
so let's shift and talk about remote work because,
Yeah.
girl,
Cause that's all I'm doing. If it's not remote, it's a no for me. Thank you. But I'm
that
just
part.
I'm just extremely productive. Someone who I'm doing a million things at once. So if I'm sitting here, I had to drive an hour to you. I'm gonna sit here for 8 hours, and I got to drive an hour. But you took 10 hours out of my day, and technically based on my experience and the level of positions I take, I'm salary, so I'm not getting paid by the hour. So I can do this from Mars. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Well,
Right.
how do you think remote work has shifted or impacted people's mental health in the workplace?
I think it is just so beneficial because people have been able to take a step back, been able to get themselves together, been able to really step outside of, and putting on a safe face. Like, because every day you're not able to, show up as who you were yesterday. And you have to allow people to do that. And when we start, again, allowing people to meet them respectfully wherever they are,
Yeah,
that's when the issues are eliminated, because we're so focused on what they're doing, what they bring to the table. And if we are in our space to focus on us, to get ourselves together, just show up every day to be our best selves, that is when we'll start to see things change, because that's
yeah,
the best thing about staying in your lane. There's no traffic and you are the leader for the direction in which you go. I feel like
yeah.
that is what you have to do to be safe and to encourage yourself, and just mentally, like, compete with the you of yesterday. Don't compete with anybody else, because you automatically are making yourself number two, because you've set them as the standard, the blueprint, the whatever you're chasing, because you're in the secret competition. But
Oh
if you compete
yeah.
with you, you'll see those realistic goals met. You'll see, a positive or productive change and progress, because it's you that you're up against. It's you that you want to do better than. It's you. You gotta just do that for you. And I feel like that remote space is just so beneficial to the mental. The only time I feel like people need to be micromanaged or, redirected or guided in the managerial way is if, they lack the understanding, or we're starting to see the attendance or things like that, or the structure of the work not being done. But
Yeah.
let's not set that tone for them or put that into the atmosphere, like, oh, they're not going to be there on time. Like, allow them to show up,
To show
allow
up,
them to.
to be present, and to do their
Yeah.
best work. And so you're right. I mean, I think remote work has created a newfound sense of
Yeah.
this work-life balance piece that people have been trying to achieve for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take it a step further. Like there are people who don't feel that remote work brings a work-life balance, that it doesn't help their mental health. In fact, they feel that it impacts their mental health more in a negative way because they they don't have constant
Yeah.
communication connection with the physical person. Some people need physical connection in order to thrive, in order to be better. And so we want to make sure that these companies are able or create strategies where they can show a level of connection, because you're right, now
Right.
we're a lot of companies are in the space of mental health, or I'm sorry, are in the space of remote work, and they are um, creating these hybrid schedules where you're like 2 days on, 2 days off, or 2 days at work in the office,
Right.
2 days off,
Right.
3 days at home, whatever the case is.
Mhm.
And then two, also, some people who have these remote schedules, some employers take advantage, because now, oh, you can work around the clock, you at home. What do you mean? What do you mean you
Mhm.
need to take some time off? You know?
Mhm. Yep.
Um, so that's the thing that I would highly, highly recommend for everyone who is having issues with your mental health. Like, let's promote a work-life balance. That is the key. That is what we want to make sure that we do. All right, Lindsay, let's go to the next piece. All right, let's do three
Mhm.
tips to help mental health in the workplace. All
Mhm.
right, so I'm going to get into it. Just to recap everything that we said. All right, we are talking about this. Let's promote work life balance. That's it. That's one of the keys, promoting work life balance, whatever that is. I have a friend who is a big, big, big time executive where she works, and they make their Wednesdays self care Wednesdays. They give their staff works into a certain amount of hour, like maybe 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they take the rest of the day to do what they need to do for the house. If
Right.
there are things that need to be done to help promote your work life balance as a company, as an organization, I think that is highly important. Um, Mental health resources, that's key. That's key. You have to provide these resources. You have to provide resources, whether that's therapy solutions, whether that's um, creating safe spaces. I know a lot of companies have gone crazy with these new employee wellness programs. That's beautiful. It has blossomed into a really big deal for a lot of companies. And the wellness programs decrease stress. They provide safe spaces to talk about what's going on mentally. It provides people the opportunities to tap into maybe some tools that they've never had before.
Mhm.
And then, of course, last but not least, this, you know, we're encouraging open communication about mental health. We're making sure that we create these spaces of openness. We create the ability to talk not only about professional stuff and work stuff, but to really talk about all the things that are going on in your life and making it sure that those two things are balanced to an extent. And just a key to remember, employers, when you have employees, they are
Mhm.
people. They are people that deserve compassion. They are people who deserve grace. They are people who are doing the work. They are moving this ship. Without them, the ship would
Mhm.
not move. Without them, the revenue will not build. When you truly tap in and dive in and truly support your employees through communication and other resources, you'll start to see a shift within your business. So I'm so happy that we got a chance to talk about this. And of course, guys, this is the time in the show where I do shameless plugs. As you know, guys, you can follow you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram. I've got two Instagram accounts on Instagram. If you want to follow Community Outreach and Advocacy Corporation, is COAC_GA. My personal Instagram is Everly.Alexander. And of course, Facebook is all one word, COACGA. And of course, Miss Lindsay. Follow her at Ms.White underscore on IG, and on Facebook, Lindsay White. And you said they could follow a business page, right, Lindsay?
Yes, it is in the bio of my IG page, Zen Influential.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for your time, for your efforts. I really appreciate who you are. I'm so excited to wrap up our last episode of our mental health series. It was such a pleasure.
Yes.
Such a pleasure, honey.
As always, always, you are such a breath of fresh air. I'm so excited. I hope people really do take these gems and these tools and these resources are providing and just do great things.
Do great things. All right. I love it. Let's end with that. Until the next Tipsy Tuesday episode, guys. Peace.